Everybody can find some place to park themselves. So thank you for coming out today. That wind is really terrible. First thing I want to mention is that we will be having elections in May, and Lois Sejos has agreed to be the nominations chair. So if you're interested in being part of the nominations committee or want to run for one of the elected offices, which is president, vice president, and secretary, please get a hold of Lois. You noticed in the Green Bay yesterday and in a text message you got today, reminders that you could use transportation to get up here. I really encourage you to do that because with this many people coming, parking becomes a real issue. So as a good role model, I took transportation today, and it was very nice to not have to run across the parking lot in the wind. Give the reminder to please turn off your cell phones or to put them on vibrate as a courtesy to the people who sit next to you and to the speakers. Okay, first on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of January 28th. You should have gotten them on email on February 3rd. Are there any additions or corrections? If not, we will accept them as they were distributed. The opening reflection today is going to be presented by David Jones.
I have written this down to be sure I don't go off topic. I was pleased to be invited to offer this month's inspirational moment, for it affords me the chance to praise our caregiving community that is Wesley Willows. While I've lived here for 10 years, my move from a duplex to this town center studio, has only increased my appreciation for the attention residents pay to the well-being of one another. While each of you could share examples of this, I'm sure, I have one that I would like to share with you today. Recently on the floor where I now live, Bob Ozma and Kitty Davis had lived across the hall from each other until Kitty moved to Hunt Terrace. They had met and become good friends over the hallway's puzzle table. Kitty asked Bob to share dinner each evening with her in the bistro, and over time, Bob found himself becoming more and more Kitty's caretaker. He got to know Kitty's daughter, Kathy, who finally asked him for help in moving her mother to Hunt Terrace. They both knew this would be difficult for Kitty. When the day arrived, Bob took her to a restaurant for breakfast, while Kitty oversaw the move of, Kathy oversaw the move of her mother's furniture and arranged Kitty's new home to make it a welcoming atmosphere for her mother. Because this took Kitty all morning and all afternoon, Bob drove, because this took Kathy all that time, Bob drove Kitty all over the place, including her old homestead. They even drove down the Rock River as far as Byron and west to Winnebago. Finally, Bob got the okay from Kathy to bring her mother to her new dwelling place. Despite Kitty's reluctance to move, she was delighted to see the Hunt Terrace room furnished with her belongings. While she still misses her little suite, she had called home for so many years. Bob has made a point nearly every day to visit her as Kitty adjusts and makes new friends and with her other Hunt Terrace residents. Bob and Kitty's friendship is like so many in our community. It is what makes Wesley Willows more than the retirement center. It is what makes it home. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rick. This last month, we sent out some sympathy cards to the families of residents in independent living who had passed. We sent these to the family of Richard Allen, of John Nestari, June Lights, and Doris Swenson. So moving on to our guest, the first guest we have today is the Employee of the Month, who is Lamar Pulliam, who's the chaplain of Peterson Meadows and Memory Wellness, and Leslie is going to come talk about him.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Hello, can you all hear me okay? All right, well, I have the honor of presenting my near and dear friend, Lamar Pulliam, as our Employee of the Month for January. I remember the first time I had talked to him was over the phone. When I do interviews, usually I call the candidate first just to do a pre-screen before we meet in person. And I think Lamar and I ended up talking for at least half an hour. It was a wonderful conversation. And I remember when I hung up after talking with him, I knew I've got to get him to Wesley Willows. I don't care how, in what capacity, but he is going to make such a meaningful difference here. And he has ever since day one, which actually turned out to be April Fool's Day, by the way. So he kept anticipating some kind of joke, but it turned out to be a great day. I am so incredibly thankful for him. I know many of you have had the pleasure of meeting with him and speaking with him. I'm just so excited to see what else he brings, and I am delighted to support him along the way. So congratulations, Lamar, my dear friend, and thank you for all that you do.
And this month, we also have the Employee of the Year. And this year, it's Austin Hennis, the maintenance coordinator, who we'll see over here at the suites, and Taru is going to, as soon as I wake Taru up over here.
Good afternoon. Come on. Good afternoon. There you go. Well, I am very honored and privileged to stand here to introduce Austin. He's been working really hard, and I was so happy to hear that he was the Employee of the Year of 2025. He's been working really hard. I know that most of the people who live here, this, his face. He's been working pretty much tirelessly. Whatever you guys ask for, he's trying to, take care of all of you. And I am very, very happy that he's part of the team. Congratulations, Austin.
We do not have a fitness resident of the month for here this year, this month. That person is actually a resident over at the Arbor, so they will be introduced over there. On to new resident introductions. Joella Warner has a couple that she would like to present to us from the east side.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Today I'm pleased to introduce Elisa, who goes by Lisa, and Bernard, who goes by Barney, Philip. Early in December, they moved to 2889 Amberry Drive. I'm sorry. Early in December, they moved to 2889 Amberry Drive from their home of over 40 years on 5.5 acres in Davis, Illinois. Lisa grew up in McChesney Park and met Barney when he moved there from Hancock, Wisconsin. They have celebrated 54 years together. Barney was a machinist at Ingersoll for 44 years, and Lisa held a variety of positions, one at River Bluff Nursing Home. Lisa loves everything animals, and especially dogs, having owned rescue dogs up until now. She is active in the rescue program at Forever Friends in Freeport and the Stevenson County Canine Program. Barney enjoys reading, and you might want to ask her if you talk to her. She has some pictures of those special dogs today. Barney enjoys reading, gardening, and previously enjoyed scuba diving. While they will miss living in the country, they are happy to be close to Barney's sister and her husband, Lorraine and Don Lesner. Will you please stand and wave to the...
Martha Burns has a new resident to introduce from the west side.
Thank you. Most of you know me by now. I'm Martha Burns, a West Side resident and new resident introducer, along with Kim Van Buskirk and Lenny Ship. Today I'd like to tell you about someone you may have met at the art show, the CEO Christmas party, in the gym, in the bistro, in the swimming pool. Dana Menarche moved to 4038 Silver Maple Way in mid-November. However, she broke her wrist and was unable to participate in many events until recently. And Dana started her education with someone now very famous. She was born in Rockford, but her dad moved the family in closer to Chicago when he had a job there, and she was at a Catholic elementary school in Dalton, Illinois. Anybody else know who went to school in Dalton, Illinois? His name is now Pope Leo. She was in first grade, he was in eighth, so we probably didn't notice her. Anyway, once her family moved back to Rockford, Dana was educated at St. Anthony Grade School, where she still attends church, Boylan High School, Rock Valley, Clark College, Western Illinois University, and she ultimately earned her degree in music therapy. But she formerly was the creative arts and art therapy director right up here at Rockvale Children's Home, which isn't there anymore. So she is familiar with North Rockton Avenue. Later, she earned education and special education degrees at Aurora and Northern Illinois University. Here at Wesley Willows, you might find her in the pool, reading a book from the library, joining sing-alongs in the soprano section, and she loves to attend theater and music performances. A world traveler. Lois, did you hear that?
I heard it. She's a neighbor.
Her favorite trip was to Northern Australia. Sometimes she takes one or more of her 9 nieces and nephews along. All 4 of her grandparents immigrated from Sicily, and she plans another trip to Italy in the fall. Lois, can you convince her to share some of those travels with us?
Of course.
Dana, please stand, turn around, and do the queen wave so we all know who you are.
And finally, Nancy Woolley has 3 people to introduce from the suite.
Hello, I'm Nancy Woolley, and it's my pleasure today to introduce 3 new residents here, and the first is Mary Ann Nelson. It's my pleasure to introduce Mary Ann. She was born in Harvey, Illinois, but her family moved to the south side of Chicago, where she was raised and educated in parochial elementary schools and graduated from the Academy of Our Lady High School. As she grew up, she enjoyed exploring Chicago, traveling by public transportation, and on foot because her family did not own a car. She says that it was much safer to walk the city streets than it is today. She mentioned particularly enjoying trips to Marshall Field. A lot of excitement. She and her friends worked for the John Kennedy campaign in or about 1960 and were thrilled once to meet Robert Kennedy when he appeared there on behalf of his brother. Following high school, Mary Ann attended the University of Illinois Chicago for 5 years and earned her degree in pharmacy. She worked in Springfield and several cities and towns in central Illinois, including the Mercy Health System here in Rockford, until her retirement about 10 years ago. Before moving to Wesley Willows, her last home was in Freeport. She moved to Rockford to be closer to a cousin and his wife. Mary Ann is proud of her Ukrainian and Russian heritage, but lost many of her relatives during the Stalin era in Russia and under Putin in the Ukraine. She is very fond of her dog, whom she named Fermi, who was rescued and given to her by a relative. He is her constant companion. Mary Ann has traveled in Europe, particularly enjoying Ireland and Austria. In this hemisphere, she traveled to Mexico and is very fond of that country. She is an avid reader, knitter, and enjoys a good film. She also sews her own clothes in the past, and which I consider a great art. And she looks forward to participating in new activities here at Wesley Willows and making new friends. Please join me in welcoming Mary Ann Nelson. Will you just stand and just turn and wave? I'll next introduce Mary Lou Fitzpatrick, who lives in Suites 2, H347. Mary Lou was born in Detroit but raised and schooled in Livonia, Michigan, which was still very much countrified at that time. She enjoyed a wonderful childhood, spending much of her time playing outdoors in a neighborhood creek and exploring nature. She returned to Detroit after high school and after graduating as a registered nurse, joined the United States Air Force. During her service, she met her husband, Lawrence Fitzpatrick, a dentist originally from Oak Park. Her military orders took her to Tripoli, where Lawrence joined her, and they lived there for 3 years during the Cold War. One of their great passions together was traveling while they were in the military, a love they continued throughout their military service and the rest of their lives. After her discharge, Mary Lou and Lawrence settled in Rockford, where Mary Lou worked first as a registered nurse and later graduated from Rockford College with a degree in special education. She went on to teach in several Rockford elementary schools. She and Lawrence raised 2 daughters and a son and became the proud grandparents of 7. She also became a court-appointed advocate for children and provided recommendations for their continuing care. She has always thought of Rockford as a wonderful place to call home. Mary Lou is a talented singer and joined the chorus of Starlight Theater, where she sang in several performances. She has already joined the bards here and will sing in our upcoming Easter service. She and Lawrence also continued their travels and once toured Asia in a Volkswagen. Now widowed, Mary Lou has made her move to Wesley Willows. She enjoys reading and listening to classical music. She plays mahjong and values staying active through walking, which she hopes to continue doing regularly. Mary Lou is looking forward to being an active member of the Wesley Willows community. Please join me in welcoming Mary Lou Fitzpatrick. Third, I'd like to introduce Lori Nasteri. It's a little different from my usual type of introduction, those I've done in the past. First, let me explain. This is really 3 stories. Her husband John's story, Lori's story, and John and Lori together. I must have melted it. I'm going to start telling you a few things about John. He was born in San Francisco of Italian heritage and had a dad who placed a violin in his hands at the age of 5. At age 18, he became the concert manager for the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra. During his early career as a violin virtuoso, he answered God's call to ordained ministry and entered college at the University of the Pacific and then Berkeley Baptist Divinity School. Before entering ordained ministry, however, John performed again for the San Francisco Symphony, the Bach Festival Orchestra at Carmel, at Orchestra Hall in Chicago, and Carnegie Hall in New York. He also toured nationally as a violin soloist. John played a violin that was built in 1792 in the workshop of Stradivarius. I should explain too that I got this information directly from John, whom I was very lucky to have had a chance to meet, because John passed away just before he would have been introduced last month. And I thought his life was so interesting and beautiful that I wanted to share a little of it with you. John's life as a pastor then brought him to the American Baptist churches in California, Illinois, and Oregon. He was twice invited to the White House by Richard Nixon, and he was also elected mayor of Santa Clara in California. Now I'd like to tell you about Lori, who is being introduced today. Lori was born Neva Lorraine Davis in Springfield, Illinois on Easter Sunday in 1929 and committed her life to Christian service during a pivotal summer at the Green Lake, Wisconsin American Baptist Conference grounds. There she met her first husband, with whom she shared 65 years of marriage and life in denominational ministry. They raised 2 children and enjoyed 8 grandchildren and 23 great-grandchildren, many of whom now live in the Rockford area. Lori played the piano at every one of the 26 churches they served around the country and often assisted with church administration. Her husband died in 2013. And now here is John and Lori's story together. After her husband's death, Lori reconnected with John, whom she had met in Rockford decades earlier through church music. They married in 2017 on Valentine's Day, and they continued to share their love and faith with their music. John at the violin and Lori accompanying him on the piano. Before John's death, they worshiped at the Westminster Presbyterian Church, where they often shared their music. They had planned to bring their music to Wesley Willows by holding small concerts in their apartment. Lori calls Wesley Willows her home and looks forward to her life with family nearby and new friends in the Wesley Willows community. Please join me in welcoming Lori Nasteri.
Thank you, Nancy, and welcome to all the new residents. We don't have any announcements today, so we'll move on to administration. First up is Jill Smith, who has a short presentation.
Wow, Gail. I think Gail and I are friends now. She rouses me. I love it. So the Lifestyle and Wellness Challenge is something that your Wesley Willows fitness team has put together just with you residents in mind. We put together 8 exercises that hit different components of fitness. And some are cardio, some are strength, some are mobility, some are flexibility. Why did we pick these? Well, just will-nil. No, we did research and we thought, what will keep our residents moving well, longevity, quality of life, being more pain-free, and we talk about that staying in place, right? We want to stay in our homes. We want to stay. So we have these 8 exercises. Our goal is for you to work on these exercises. Do you have to do all of them every day? No. Pick one to work on. We also do these in our classes. This morning in my strength class, I don't know, there's people in here that were there. We did 5 of these just in the class. There's Don. He did them with me. Don right there in D. So classes is a great way to get to practice them. So we have our sit-in stands. You guys know every year we do our Quadzilla, where we have a contest who can do the most sit-in stands. But why do we want to do sit-in stands? Because we want to be able to get off the toilet. And you think I'm joking, but I've had residents come up to me and said, I was stuck somewhere on the toilet because it was a low toilet. We want you to have strong legs. We want you to get in and out of your car. We want you to have strong thighs, because strong thighs? Oh, yes. See, Francis, I'm training them. They know what to do. All right. In March, we will have a exercise of the month. In March, it is farmers' carries. If you grew up on a farm, you know about carrying things in buckets around the farm. I got to feed the calves. I got to carry 5-gallon buckets of milk when I was about 7 years old. Farmers' carries help our posture, help our core, help our grip strength. Do we not? We want that grip strength. It's one of the 3 components of longevity. It is strong thighs, grip strength, and posture. So all of these exercises help with that. Plank. In January, we focused on planks. We are keeping, wouldn't you like an exercise that works the whole front of your body? It's a plank. Francis says yes. Also works the glutes. We want those glutes to stay strong. They support our spine. Walking. Who was it? One of you like to walk? Yeah, Mary Lou does. Keep walking. Avis, I know you do too. Walking. One of the best exercises we can do. We have standing forward bend. This. Oh, feels so good. Helps relax the spine. Helps keep our ability to bend down and pick things up. Yes? And if you are starting to have trouble with that, shoulder mobility, when our shoulders are stiff, and I know Francis and I were talking about this. Yes, we want to keep our shoulders nice and mobile. It's going to help us have less pain and less stress here. And then we have our single leg balance. Yes, we all need to be able to stand on one leg to keep able to walk forward. I time myself. This presentation takes 4 minutes. I'm almost done. And then our last one is getting down and up off the floor. In April, our Rockford University students are going to come and help us teach you how to get down and up off the floor. We also will be talking about it. So this is what the fitness team is basing their classes, their program on, to help you stay strong. We have a packet over here with these exercises. On the last page, we have some recommendations of what you should be able to do. Why? What is it? Why do we do it? And the recommended goals. You can look at that. Do not get overwhelmed. Join the fitness team. They'll help you do these things. If you're someone that works out at home, I know Ed does. Well, I saw him earlier. You can practice these at home. Yes? Do something. Something is better than nothing. And I'm going to just end. Jen has a quote here. Jen actually put this together for us. She always says, drops in the bucket. If you've been around Jen, she tells you little drops in the bucket. Every little bit counts. Every time you walk a little farther, every time you practice standing on one leg while you're cooking dinner and you got the counter right there. Every time you do a plank, whether it's against the wall or on the floor, you are putting those little drops in the bucket that are making a big difference in the end. All right? So we wanted you to know where we're going. Tracking. We're going to be tracking these numbers for you. So if you give us how you're doing on your farmers carries at the end of March, we're going to write your name down. We're going to put what you accomplished, and we're going to keep working on this. Now, when do you get to stop working on this? Oh, good. You all know the answer. And Melissa with marketing is going to help me make this even prettier and more branded and help me put some nice signs up in the fitness center to help you know even more about this. But feel free to grab a packet, pick a farmer's carry, start working on it in March. And that's all I have for you today. Have a great day.
No, I don't have a mic. Next on the agenda is Brandon Burkle, who's the Corporate Director of Facilities and Grounds.
I can assure you I will be shorter and with probably a little bit less energy. Hi, Jill. I'm trying to trigger my internal Jill. I've been trying to prove to her that I'm not a quiet guy, so we'll see. It's tough. There's tough shoes to fill. I'm Brandon Burkle, Corporate Director of Facilities and Grounds. I think most of you have met me, but if you don't, that's who I am. So we're going to talk a little bit about work orders. I always like this time of year to kind of do a recap of the previous year as well, because I think it's interesting to see the total numbers of work orders that we create every year, or you all help us create, and what the team actually accomplishes throughout the year. So we'll start with the monthly. So in January, we had 1,932 work orders created. So our numbers are going up. There's a couple of reasons for that. You all are kind of keeping us on our toes and continue to put those work orders in, but the guys are doing a really good job of tracking more of what they're actually doing. There was a lot of things that they just kind of did, right? And we didn't really have a history of that. And tracking, and it helps us do a couple of things, helps us with staffing, helps us know what the guys are doing and all that. So we're seeing those numbers go up gradually because of those reasons. So out of those work orders, we completed 1,903 of those, which is great. We still have about 29 out there, 22 that are pending for different reasons. Tricia is doing a great job on managing the pending work orders. So anytime we're like waiting for a part or waiting for a contractor to do something, she's noting all those in our work order system so that we can track that. So if you have a delay in your request and you're wondering like where it's at, call Tricia. She'll have the answer for you, I guarantee it. If she doesn't, she'll find it. And then we have 7 new out there for probably a couple other reasons, but we still have some work to do. So 29 total for the month of January to complete. These are always the interesting numbers because this is how we gauge our response rate, right? So how quick are we doing the work orders? So we had 84% were completed within the 1 day, basically the same day, which is great. I mean, 80% is my goal. We're rarely over 80%. So with the increase of work orders and we're over that 80%, that's really good. The guys are doing a great job. And then the 1 to 3 days, 88%. So again, that's for these type of numbers that we're doing, the response rate is awesome. Let's take some guesses. How many work orders do you think were completed and created in 2025 for the calendar year? 12,000? 22,000? Okay, we're in the ballpark. 17,000. So 17,000 work orders for that calendar year. So again, with our new work order system, we're able to track all that, and we'll track that throughout the years. We do that for all of our campuses, and the numbers are really interesting. And that system also just had a recent update that we're going to be able to do some other things with some benchmarking. So more information to come on that. I love the numbers. So we talk about the QR code quite a bit. You know, residents seem to like that. They like to be able to put in their own work orders to the QR code through that portal. Many like to talk to Tricia and call Tricia or call Toru. That's great. Either way is fine for us. But that QR code is just another avenue that you can put a work order in after the office is closed, and it goes right to the guys. So we're going to continue to talk about that, promote that. Jessica's going to talk a little bit about Zesta today. That's going to incorporate in Zesta as well. So there's just going to be a link there that's going to be really easy to get to. So I'm thinking that our numbers for that QR code usage is going to get a lot more use. So good things there. All right, so locker room updates, pool updates, our sprinkler head break that we had here a month or so ago. We're ready to take the next step in that repair process. So we have a date to start. We're going to plan on starting March 9th. That's Monday, March 9th. We'll send some more information on how we're going to do that logistically. Jessica and I need to kind of talk about what we're going to do. We are going to need to close the women's bathroom for that week. We have intentions on opening back up on the 16th. So a plan will be out in the green bag, probably text message so more to come on all that. February, we like to talk about landscaping. So we know that landscaping's coming. We had a little brief spring weather there a week or so ago. Hopefully that's real soon. But we want to make sure that we're ready for spring. Manny's, as soon as the weather breaks consistently, they're going to be on campus doing their spring cleanup. We want to make sure our list from last year is on point and accurate. So if there's things that you and I talked about last spring or last fall that we need to follow up on, let me know. We're trying to hit that ground zero to start the spring. And then if there's any other projects that you have that you've been thinking about doing at your home, let us know, and we'll either get Crimson Valley Landscaping or Manny's involved to give us quotes on that stuff. So busy spring, busy couple months to come. So any questions for me? Go ahead.
If I call and say, I need this, and would you look at this, is that separate work orders?
Question was, if I call and I say I need my light bulb changed, my sink is leaking and something else, not necessarily. We'd like to get that captured in one visit, so that's most likely gonna be one work order. You know, we might split that out if it's something we have to revisit, but generally that'll be on one work order. Yep. And we would encourage people to put those in that way too through the QR code. You know, you don't have to put in, I have a light bulb out and then create another work order for something else. You can put that on the same work order and then Tricia will figure that out and manage that piece. Thank you, good comment. Question? Sure.
Is it necessary to have these follow-up calls, you know, as to whether a job was completed? Usually it's 2 weeks after, and I just find it kind of a nuisance, because yes, the job was done.
Sure.
And I think to think that you would have a record of it having been done.
Yeah. Question was, is it necessary to have the follow-up calls? So the follow-up calls aren't necessarily to see that the work has been done. It's just if there's anything that's outlying in that, you know, was the job done well or any of those type of things. We can evaluate that if the consensus is that, I mean, we're not getting any negative responses from those, so I think we're doing pretty good. That's just something that's been in place for a while. We can evaluate that if we think it's just I mean, everybody has our numbers, so you can call if there's a problem. We can be reached, so. Sure.
I would just like to give a shout out to Tricia.
Comment was a shout out to Tricia that she's just doing a great job, and then Jen. I applaud her for yeah, Tricia has really brought the maintenance office to a next level. So she's great. She helps out Toru daily, myself. So we appreciate her, and I'll pass that on. Thank you. All right. Well, did I come under her time?
Okay, and finally, Jessica Story, our Executive Director.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Always nice to see you as always. Welcome to our new residents. Thank you very much for being here. Somebody asked me on the way in today, do you have some good news for us today? Of course I do. So I have all kinds of good stuff for you today. But first I want to let you know how we're doing on campus as far as our occupancy report. So we have 2 East homes available now. We have 0 on hold. We don't have any West homes available right now. We have 1 on hold. We have 0 available suites in Suites 1, 0 on hold. 0 Suites 2 suites and 4 on hold. And then in Suites 3, we have 4 available and 2 on hold. We have 30 apartments in Willows Arbor that are available, and we have 2 on hold right now, so that's 90% occupied on campus. Great job to the marketing team, as always. All right, and then to more good stuff. So I've been waiting and waiting and waiting to tell you all of this. So I have some really good news. We have started a certified nursing assistant program, and it's called Wesley Willows Academy. So we are duly approved from the Illinois Department of Public Health and the Illinois Board of Higher Education. And we are ready to start school in April. So I want to tell you a little bit about the program. So why are we doing the program? There's a couple of things. One, we want to make sure that we have skilled workers in our future, right? So there is a huge CNA shortage in not only in our community, Rockford community, but also in the nation. So Wesley Willows is doing our part as a community for community involvement to make sure that we have skilled workers now and in the future. Not only here at Wesley Willows, but out in our community as well. We also would love to train individuals to our quality of care and be a part of their career path, their healthcare career path. So a little bit about the program. It is an 8-week program. We have 10 students in each cohort. We currently have 2 instructors, 1 full-time instructor, 1 substitute instructor. And they're going to be learning the basics of being a CNA. And the whole point of it is to help them pass their state their state exam, and then get employed. And maybe they will be employed with us, or maybe they'll be employed in the community somewhere else. So again, the whole point is let's get them to work, let's get them to be CNAs, let's get those skilled workers. So we're very excited about this program. And on the screen you'll see a couple of, well, right now you're seeing the classroom. So we have a brand new classroom that we're able to teach these students in. And then we also have a student lounge for students to be able to enjoy being able to do independent study or have group meetings or whatever it might be. So shout out to maintenance for renovating those rooms. It looks amazing, and it's going to be a great learning environment for our students. A little bit more about the program. It's going to be half classroom teaching, and then half in our health center. So the students will be learning hands-on clinical work, real job experience in our health center. The tuition for the individuals is $1,600, and it includes all of the textbook, the teaching, the scrubs, and any other materials that they might need. On the slide before, that's the student lounge, and then on the next slide is the classroom. Any questions about the program? Yes?
Where are the classrooms located?
So those are located, great question, in Willows Arbor. And if you remember where the Swingley Lounge was, you might not because you were new, but it's where the Swingley Lounge used to be, and the student lounge is directly across the hall. So if you are in the Arbor, you're welcome to stop by, say hello to our instructor. Her name is Teresa. Take a look. Yes?
That was my question. Who are the instructors? Are they part of the Wesley Willows nursing staff? Or?
Great question, Judy, and I'll get to you in just a second. So the instructors are, we have a full-time instructor and a substitute instructor. They are part of our nursing team. And we're very lucky to have our full-time instructor, because she previously came from Kishwaukee College teaching the CNA program. So we snagged her right up. And then our substitute teacher is a full-time nurse at OSF in the burn unit. So, yes, I'm sorry, your question.
I was just going to ask whether there is any tuition assistance available.
That's a great question. Are there any tuition assistance available? Some of our community partners that we're working with have participants, and if they're working with a community partner, such as Goodwill or the Excel Center, which is the new adult high school in Rockford, they are getting paid. They're paid through that program, so they don't have to pay individually. Otherwise, at this time, we don't have any tuition assistance. However, we're looking into some grants and some other possibilities that way.
How
Yes.
big a class are you looking at?
So,
How many participants?
yep. So each class will have 10 students to start with. Yes.
And you're expecting to do this 5 times a year?
Yes. Yes. Every 8 weeks we'll have a class. We'll take a couple weeks off to market it, and then start again for another 8 weeks. We just released the application, I think it was last Thursday or Friday. We already have 33 applications in. So we've already now know that we have a few cohorts potentially wrapped up and solidified, which means there is a huge interest out there. So. Yes, Levette.
When is it gonna start?
April 6th it's gonna start. Yep. Lloyd, I think you won the question down there.
Just a brief thing.
Yes.
These are additional people coming during busy times of the day. And in addition, you have other students coming for a variety of things from
Mm-hmm.
Rock Valley College and wherever else. Where are they going to park?
You always ask the good questions, Lloyd. So if you didn't hear what Lloyd's question was, is you already host a lot of different schools, which is very true. We have Rock Valley College, Rockford Career College, Rasmussen, and RPS 205. Everybody wants to come here for clinicals, and they want us to teach them, which is wonderful. But where is everybody going to park in addition to our students as well? So we will be utilizing the north parking lot a bit more than we do. So the north parking lot, and then we're still working out some other arrangements with some nearby partners potentially. So we're working out the parking situation. Yes. Great question. So how many hours does this amount, the 8 weeks amount to? It's 120 hours altogether, which is a requirement by the Illinois Department of Public Health for having this program. There's a certain number of hours that have to be done in the classroom and a certain amount of hours that have to be done in a skilled setting such as our health center in order to take the state exam. Thank you. Yes. Yes, Linda. When they graduate from our program, they'll be ready to take the state exam, but once they pass the state exam, they'll be certified nursing assistants. So they'll be CNAs.
And we can hire them, right?
We can, if they apply with us, yes. We can hire them, and that really is the point, to not only beef up our workforce here, so that we make sure we have the foundation of the clinical program with our CNAs, but also employed out in the community, which helps our economy. Okay. Any other questions? Great questions. Thank you so much. Okay. And before we go on to the next topic, I really would like to thank Susan Zimmerman over there. As you look at the beautiful classroom and the beautiful student lounge, Susan was able to donate to us to help us get this program started, and we're just so thankful very much.
Yeah. Really supports education, and before he died, he put all this in motion and left me with finishing.
Yes, he did. And it was such a pleasure to be able to meet with Phil. And of course, he was a physician and passionate about training individuals to be in healthcare. And he was very, very supportive of this program. So I very much appreciate the support and helping guide the vision for this program, Susan. Thank you so much. All right, and then, all right, I have a couple of other things that, not on the slide. I want to talk about Wells ESTA. We have lots of questions, I think. So I'm going to try to clear up a couple of questions that we've had recently. So we've asked for your email addresses. We've collected quite a few of them. So where we are right now in the process is just making sure we have everybody's email address that wants to participate in Wells ESTA, which I hope is all of you. Once we get everybody's email address, we can then have you log in. We're not quite there. So we've gotten a couple of calls. I need to log in. How do I log in? we're going to be sending that information out to you once we get everybody's email addresses. So after the meeting today, we have a couple of people that are helping make sure that we gather as many email addresses as possible before you leave. If you've already given us your email address, don't worry about it, you're good. But we have Jill, Brooke, and Carrie, and Val that will be making sure that we have your email address. On Monday, so by Monday around 5 p.m., you'll be able to log in. Your login is, nobody try to use each other's login, okay? Your email address and your PIN number is going to be 5678. So you'll need to change your PIN number at that time. So we'll again be providing you information. We're gonna text that out to you as well. But by Monday at 5 p.m., you should be able to log into Zesta. If you don't log in, no worries. That's why we're gonna be having the training next week. We're gonna be starting training on Tuesday. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is Zesta training. All of the Zesta staff is gonna be here to help you log in. So wanted to answer that question for you. We also are going to be having a general question session on Monday here in Auditorium A from noon to 1:30. If you do have any additional questions or are having a little trouble downloading the app. Any questions? What am I missing? Yes.
You had said that there was going to be some sort of telephone survey that was supposed to come out this week. Has it?
Yes. So the question was, and it's totally different than Zesta, but the question is about a survey, and I had sent you all a letter about a Memo Mate survey, and that will be coming to your telephone. I know that some of you have done it because we have about 80 people that have taken this survey. It started, so it may just be making its way down to you, Lloyd, or to others that may have not gotten it. So it's still happening, so you should be getting a phone call, and it's going to be asking you about 9 questions related to healthcare services here on campus, whether you would take advantage of them or not. And it's going to be asking you some brain health questions. So this is related to our integrated healthcare system initiative that we're doing through our strategic plan. So would love to hear your feedback when you get that phone call with those questions. Yes?
How will it be identified on our phone? I mean, I don't answer if it's something from South Carolina, which I got this morning.
Okay. So the question was, how will it be identified on the phone? It will be an 815 number. I believe it's a 815-315 number. And I don't remember the last 4 numbers, but it will say it's a local number that's going to be calling you. And again, just as a reminder, this is the Memo Mate phone call that it will ask you questions and you interact with it in order to give us feedback. Yes.
I got
Teresa.
a call and they left the questions on my answering machine, which means that they didn't get any answers. Are they gonna call me back or do they think I'm done?
So if I heard you right, they left you the questions on your answering machine, thinking maybe your answering machine was you? Okay. All right. Thanks for letting me know that. That's supposed to happen. Your answering machine can't give me the answers that I want. I'll see what's going on with that. Yes, Patty.
The phone number is 315-1528.
Okay, so it's 815-315-1528 is Memo Mate. So if you get that, that's what it is. Typically will either be your cell phone or your home phone. It depends on which phone you categorize as your primary number. Yes.
As
far as Wells Est is concerned, will those of us who are already logged in be logged out and have to re-log in?
Oh, that's a great question. So for those that are already logged into Wells Est, do you have to re-log in? We have a number of ambassadors, I think 35 or something like that. You do not. So if you are already logged in and looking at Wells Est, there's nothing that you need to do any differently. Okay. Yes. Sandra, yes.
I've been called 3 times. And have not been in the survey because I had an appointment that was blocking out the door.
Okay.
And that message.
Okay.
I don't know the status, and I'm gonna call somebody and say, when you call me at such and such time. But I don't mean to be so picky, it's just that it's happened 3 times and I'm still on the right.
Sure. Sandra was just saying they've tried to call 3 times and she hasn't been able to respond. So it should be only calling you 2 times. So I'll have to see why it's calling you 3 times. Okay, thanks for letting me know that. Any other questions? Okay, one more thing for you. In the green bag, I put a little note in there this week about the locker rooms. The ladies aquatic class, Twinges for Hinges, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays has grown to about 13 members, and so we are going to be closing the men's locker room to accommodate that class from Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8:30 to 10:30. So just while you're all here, wanted to let you know. All right, any questions for me? Yes.
There's been some stories or things going on about going to start a bar here at Westwood.
Okay. And what's your question?
What's the story?
Okay, so the question was there is something about starting a bar here. There are some very preliminary plans. Nothing has been solidified with any of those plans. There is some talk and some rumors about different renovations and things that we're going to be doing. I will tell you that at this point in time, it is really too early for us to respond appropriately to those plans because it's just too early. None of those plans are actually in place right now. Once and if those plans do get put in place, we will be letting everybody know what's going on and being very transparent with you.
Without any input from you.
So I do know that so the question was there input from the community? There was input from the community. There were a lot of interest meetings from my understanding regarding, what you would like to see and things like that. There's also a number of comments on our resident satisfaction survey as well, with residents saying they wanted to see new environments, new venues, different things to do, things like that. So once, like I said, gotta trust us. Once we are ready to respond and to talk more about those, we will let you know.
I just don't want to be given a completed thing without being able to have a discussion about whether we like it or not.
Right. So we will definitely have a separate meeting than this that is dedicated to answer those questions and to listen to your concerns and your responses as well, okay? When the time is right. Yes, Dave?
Is this the same thing we heard that maybe the library was gonna be moved and there might be a coffee shop put in its place? Is that the same thing we're talking about?
Yes, so we're talking about a number of different renovation possibilities, and those are a part of that as well.
So it's coffee and not a bar.
It's, yeah, so there's a few different venues, things like that residents said they wanted that we're looking into. Yeah? Alice?
Is there a guesstimate of how long it's going to take the new computer system in the
24 hours
No,
a day?
I said 20.
20 hours
I
a day.
don't want to have to be here all night.
Yeah. So Alice is talking about our new POS system that we got. Did everybody see that? If you've eaten in the bistro over this past week, you might see some new equipment there. Our staff is putting in orders through that equipment. What happens is once they put that in, it sends it to the back of house in order for preparation. Annie, I believe it's up and running.
Where's Annie? Like last night at our table, there were 5 of us, 3 didn't get a portion of
Okay.
whatever they were supposed to get.
Gotcha. I do know we're still working, so it's brand new. Okay. Where you're not getting the food that you ordered? Okay. 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 Alright. Well, Annie is here. She's listening. I believe Annie was going to send out something in the green bag this week with some maybe frequently asked questions or something like that. Is that right? Okay, and Annie will be here for questions after this meeting as well. So it is a brand new system. I thank you for your patience. It is going to work out really well for us and help us with efficiency and things like that once we get everything going smoothly.
And with a new system like that, there's always a learning curve.
There is. Right, and it's a pretty big operation. We've got a lot of things that work out. So thank you, Dave, very much. There was a question over here, Sharon.
On our new system, are prices going to be charged differently?
On the new system, and we're talking about the dining system still, are the charges going to be any different? No. So if you have a meal plan in the suites, everything is still the same.
So there's not increase in prices?
No, there is not increase in prices.
Is there a charge when you pick up a meal?
Is there a charge when you pick up a meal? No. Mm-mm. No. If you get it delivered and you live in the homes, I believe there's a charge. But other than that, there's no charge for pickup.
Delivered here?
Is there a charge for delivery here? I don't believe there is. There is?
And there has been a few.
A few that have gotten charges. Andy, is there a charge? No? Okay. All right. Those that get a charge, come see me after this so I can better understand. Okay? Yes?
This is for the Bistro 2. We picked up a meal last night. It says on there that my husband and I both paid $4.50 extra. What does that mean? We've not ordered anything extra.
Okay. Another question about bistro charges. Stay after and we'll talk more about that so I can better understand. Thank you. All right. Any other questions? All right. I gave you a lot of information. Hopefully it was as good as you wanted. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. All right, our next meeting is going to be March 25th at 3 o'clock in this room. We've completed the agenda, so we'll adjourn the meeting until next month.